If you had a fruit tree in your backyard that gave you $8,000 worth of fruit every single year forever, would you ever cut it down just to sell the wood one time? Now that sounds like a ridiculous question. Nobody would do that. And yet that is exactly what most people do with their money every single day without even realizing it. Today I'm going to show you the real math behind the difference between spending your seed and spending your fruit, and why that one distinction is the difference between being broke at 65 and never running out of money at all. Now let's start with the words themselves, because they're not just poetic, they're literal. The seed is your principal. It's the actual chunk of money you worked for, saved, or built. The fruit is the interest. It's what that money produces without you having to touch the seed at all. And here's the part almost nobody explains clearly. If you eat the seed, there's no more tree. If you eat only the fruit, the tree keeps producing season after season for the rest of your life. And honestly, for the rest of your family's life after you're gone. This isn't a new idea. It's actually one of the oldest financial principles there is. A farmer doesn't plant a field and then eat all the seed corn before it ever has a chance to grow. He sets the seed aside, protects it, plants it, and lives off of what it produces. Anyone who eats the seed corn in the winter doesn't have a crop in the spring. That's not a metaphor for a spreadsheet. That's just how farming has always worked. And money works the exact same way, whether anybody ever explains it to you or not. So let's put real numbers on this, because I don't want you to just believe me. I want you to see it. Let's say you have $100,000. That's your seed. Now, most people, when they get access to a lump sum like that, whether it's a retirement account, an inheritance, or years of savings, they start pulling from it directly. Let's say you pull $10,000 a year out of that $100,000 just to live on, to supplement your income, whatever the reason is. That feels responsible, doesn't it? 10% a year sounds conservative. Here's what the math actually shows. At $10,000 a year, coming straight out of the principal, that $100,000 is completely gone in 10 years. Not eventually, not someday, 10 years, and it's zero. Everything after that, every year for the rest of your life, you get nothing from that money because there's no more seed left to produce anything. Now let's run the other version. Same $100,000, but instead of spending the seed, you only spend the fruit. You place that $100,000 where it can actually produce, generating a return. Let's use 8% a year as a reasonable, achievable number for passive income when it's structured properly. 8% of $100,000 is $8,000. That's your fruit for year one. You take that $8,000 and you live on it, or reinvest it, or do whatever you want with it. But you leave the seed alone, completely alone. Every single year for the next 20 years, that seed keeps producing $8,000 in fruit. 20 years of $8,000 a year is $160,000 collected in cash in your hands. And at the end of those 20 years, guess what your seed is worth? Still $100,000. It never left. It's still sitting there, still producing, still ready to make another $8,000 next year and the year after that, indefinitely, for as long as you're alive to receive it. Now, let that sink in. This is the math. Spend the seed, and over 20 years, you collect $100,000 total, and then it's gone forever. Spend only the fruit, and over that same 20 years, you collect $160,000, $60,000 more. And you still have the entire $100,000 seed sitting there afterwards. That's not a small difference. That's the seed strategy producing 160% more total value than the spend it down strategy. And that gap only gets wider the longer you let it run, because a tree that's still alive in year 21 keeps making fruit in year 21 and year 30 and year 40. A tree you already cut down for lumber back in year 10 makes nothing ever again. This is the entire philosophy behind what we teach on this channel when we talk about the income snowball approach. It's not about finding some exotic investment nobody's heard of. It's about structuring your principal so it produces consistent passive income and then having the discipline to only ever touch what it produces, never the source itself. Because the math doesn't care how disciplined you feel. It only cares what you actually do with the money. Now here's where I want to connect this back to something a lot of you already know, and that is velocity banking. Velocity banking is fundamentally about protecting and accelerating your seed on the debt side of your life. Instead of slowly bleeding money out to a 30-year mortgage or a stack of high-interest credit cards, you use a line of credit to attack the principal directly, right? Switch that 22%, that 34% interest into an 8% interest, right? Once that seed, meaning your debt, is eliminated, the exact same dollars that used to go toward interest payments to a bank can now become seed capital that produces fruit for you instead. That's the full circle. Velocity banking clears the weeds so you can actually plant something. The seed and fruit principle is what you do once the field is clear. And I want to be honest with you about something because numbers don't lie. And I never want to be one of the people distorting the picture to make a strategy sound better than it actually is. 8%, of course, is not guaranteed. No return is ever guaranteed. And anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something you should walk away from. What is guaranteed, mathematically, without question, is this. If you spend your principal down to zero, it produces zero forever after that point. Do the math. There's no version of that math that works out differently. And if you protect your principal and only spend what it produces, you have preserved your ability to keep producing income for as long as that principal exists, plus whatever you've already collected along the way. That part is not a projection, that's arithmetic. Now, let me show you one more version of this because pure discipline isn't the only option, and this math is real. What if, instead of spending all of the fruit or none of the fruit, you split? Every year, you spend half of what the fruit produces and you let the other half go back into the seed. Same $100,000, same 8%, same 20 years. Watch what happens. Because you're feeding a portion of the fruit back into the tree every single year, the tree itself keeps getting bigger, which means next year's fruit is bigger too, over that 20-year stretch. Spending half the fruit every year while reinvesting the other half, you actually get to spend $119,112 total, more than you collected in the pure spend the fruit version. And your seed has grown from $100,000 all the way up to $219,112. By year 20, your fruit alone in that single year is producing $16,854, more than double what it was making back in year one. Add up everything. The cash you spent along the way, plus what the seed grew into, and that's $338,224 in total value. More than 3 times what the spend the seed approach ever produced. That's the version most of the people I coach eventually land on, because it lets you actually enjoy some of the harvest today while the tree keeps getting and growing stronger for tomorrow, instead of treating discipline like it has to mean deprivation. This is also why the order of operations matters so much. If you try to live off the fruit of a seed that's still buried under high interest debt, you're fighting a losing battle, because the interest you owe is very likely eating more than the interest you're earning. And that's why we always start with getting free from expensive debt first, using tools like the Money Max account to accelerate that payoff, and only then shifting into the seed and fruit phase where your money starts working for you instead of against you. Now let's talk about the debt snowball, because I know a lot of you have heard of it, and I want to show you exactly where it falls short compared to what we teach here. The debt snowball is simple. You take every extra dollar you have and you throw it at your debt. Smallest balance first until it's gone. And only after every debt is completely paid off do you start thinking about building anything. On paper, that sounds like discipline and it sounds like a good idea. But there's more, right? And here's what the debt snowball never accounts for by design. It has no mechanism for building a passive income stream. None. It's built entirely around subtraction. Debt goes down, down, down. And the day you hit zero, you have zero debt and zero income producing assets. Whatever you do next is a completely separate decision the framework never once prepared you for. You start your seed from scratch on day one, the same day everybody else starts theirs, except you've now spent years with your foot only on the brake and never on the gas. The income snowball works differently because it's building a seed while the debt is still being cleared, not after. Let's say you've got $30,000 in debt on a line of credit at 8% and $500 a month in surplus to work with. Run it the debt snowball way. Every dollar of that $500 goes to debt. Nothing else until it's paid off. That takes 77 months, a little over 6 years. Only then do you start investing the full $500 a month. And by year 20, your seed has grown to $172,072. Now, run it the income snowball way. Same debt, same $500, but this time, $400 goes to the debt and $100 goes straight into building your seed, starting in month 1, not month 78, because you're only attacking the debt with $400 instead of $500. It takes a bit longer to clear, 105 months instead of 77, about 2.5 years longer. But that $100 a month has been compounding the entire time your debt was still being paid down. Once the debt is gone, the full $500 a month shifts into the seed from there forward. Run that all the way out to the same 20-year mark and your seed is worth $175,099. That's $3,027 more than the debt snowball version, worth about 1.8% more, purely because that seed had years of head start the debt snowball never gave it a chance to have. And I want to be straight with you about the size of that gap because I already told you I won't distort a number to make a strategy look better than it is. $3,000 over 20 years is real, but it's not what makes the income snowball powerful. You know what makes it powerful? What makes it powerful is the principle underneath it. Debt snowball, by its very design, ignores passive income completely for as long as any debt exists. Income snowball, by its very design, is building that passive income the entire time, even while debt is still on the books. That's not a small philosophical difference. That's the entire difference between a strategy that only knows how to subtract and a strategy that's growing an asset from day one. And I'll give you the honest flip side too, because it matters just as much. This only works in your favor when the debt you're carrying is lower cost debt, like a line of credit in the 7 to 8% range. If that debt was sitting on a credit card at 25% interest, splitting your money away from it to go chase a 10% return would be a mistake, plain and simple. So pay off the expensive debt first, right? Always. The income snowball's edge shows up once your debt is already cheap enough that building your seed early is worth more than crushing that specific debt a couple of years faster. Think about this every time I talk to someone who inherited money or hit a bonus or finally paid off their house, and their very first instinct is to what? Let's go spend a chunk of it on something that feels good in the moment. And I understand the impulse, okay? But every dollar of seed you spend today is a dollar of fruit you'll never collect next year or the year after or 10 years from now when you actually need it. The temporary feeling of spending the seed almost never outweighs the compounding cost of losing the tree. I also want to give you the honest caveat here because I already told you numbers don't lie, and I meant it both ways. If you take that flat $8,000 a year in fruit and you never grow it, never reinvest any of it, inflation is quietly eating it at the entire time. Running the real math, at a typical 3% average inflation rate, that same $8,000 in year one is only worth about $7,767 in today's purchasing power. By year 20, that fruit, still $8,000 on paper, is only worth about $4,429 in real terms. That's a 44% decline in what that same harvest can actually buy you just from standing still while prices around it keep rising. And this is exactly why the reinvestment version isn't just a nice bonus, it's often the version that actually protects you. When part of the fruit goes back into growing the seed produces more fruit next year, which gives you a fighting chance to outrun inflation instead of quietly losing ground to it every single season. So here's what I want you to walk away with right now. Before you touch a lump sum of money, any lump sum, ask yourself one question. Is this the seed or is this the fruit? If it's the seed, your job is to protect it and put it somewhere it can produce. If it's the fruit, that's the portion that's actually yours to enjoy guilt-free because the tree is still standing and it's going to make more next season. That one distinction, seed versus fruit, principal versus interest, is one of the simplest and most powerful filters you will ever run your financial decisions through. If you see a video right now, about now, I want you to take that as a sign to go and watch it. And we'll see you in another video. God bless you.